Hi everyone, I'm Oliver Gardner and we are here in Scotland, Glasgow, at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP26. And we're here with Gina Pattison of Soil Heroes. Hello.
Hi Oliver, nice to see you.
So Gina here has launched an open letter to Alok Sharma, who is the CEO of the COP26, to build pressure to bring soil at the forefront of the climate negotiations.
We urge the President and all of the leaders to really recognize, to put soil properly on the agenda, to recognize that we have a solution that we don't need to debate for hours, and we don't need to wait for years to test, to know that it's the right thing to do. We know it's the right thing to do, and we have scientific evidence that it's the right thing to do to build soil health.
And so this letter has been endorsed by dozens of organizations that promote agroecology and regenerative agriculture, and endorsed by Regeneration International. And this is building momentum. We have momentum here at COP26 for soil health, for putting soil and agriculture at the center of the way we deal with climate change.
We all collectively, collaboratively know how important soil is if we want to really talk about climate solutions. So if we want to really address climate, we need to make sure that farmers can transition to regenerative practices. That means we need better legislation about how are you going to incentivize and encourage a farmer to do the right thing. We need to make sure, number one, we change the focus. Stop focusing on quantity. If we're going to subsidize the farmer, make sure that it is, or we're going to reward the farmer for quality, not quantity. It's about how well you've grown that produce in a way that is also restoring the soil. Another part of that is finance. So when you subsidize a farmer, reward those farmers who are already doing the right thing to go further. So enable the transition and provide financing for farmers to become regenerative, to be able to come off those very addictive chemicals, and instead to reduce their tillage and to be able to make that transition. And the third thing I would say is information. So there's a lot of data gathering going on. That's great. Keep it up and make sure we continue to push to turn that data into information at policy level that can really demonstrate the benefit and the change that's coming as a result of it, that ensures that we continue on the right path and we can't go back.
And on a national level, if you out there want to get involved, well, you need to speak to your local politicians, because really everything that's going on here at the COP goes through the nationally determined contributions of countries towards the Paris Agreement target. And soil health needs to be included in the NDCs, in the nationally determined contributions of countries. And the way to do that is really through public pressure, because the pressure, the real pressure, the biggest pressure politicians have, policymakers have, is from the industry right now, not from the consumers, not from the public. And as we know, Greta Thunberg is out there asking people to build public pressure, and this is also what we need for the agricultural sector: public pressure on politicians to bring the solution of soil health through their nationally determined contributions that they then bring to the negotiations table, and that can be enforced by the UN system.
Do you know what else I would say we need, Oliver? Is we need pressure and we need stories. We need to be able to shine the light on the farmers who are doing great things. Look at the light that shone on Greta for doing the right thing. I have my 8-year-old daughter here with me who has been in the march and wanted to see Greta because she's inspirational. She is like full heart, wants to set eyes on this one single person in the whole world. So if we can also do the same with farmers who are showing, demonstrating, sharing the wonderful things that they're doing on their farm, then that combined with pressure job done.
And so just tell me a little bit about Soil Heroes. Yes. Talk to me about Soil Heroes. Who are these heroes?
I'm super proud to be a soil hero. I work with a really fantastic team. Two farmers, Jeroen and Melanie Klomper, who are regenerative arable farmers in very, as I've already shared, a very profit-driven context country. The Netherlands is tiny. It exports, I think, it's the second biggest exporter of food in the world, which when you look at the dot on the map that it is an insane thought. Very expensive land, and yet they have given up parts of their land to, for example, biodiversity lanes, flower edges, beautiful. Other farmers think that's messy. Why are you doing that? You could be growing wheat that you could get money for. Why would you have flowers? Those flowers are really essential for increasing the resilience of the yield, for changing the structure of the soil, all the things that I've already shared. So from Melanie's experience of how important biodiversity is in farming, and Jeroen, who's an entrepreneur and a businessman, is saying, hey, who's going to pay the bottom line? Am I going to survive here as a farmer? Their experience is when you transition to regenerative, you actually improve your own farm, you improve your own soil assets, you improve your financial position, you improve the quality of what you're producing, the resilience and the ability to go forward. Great, fine. Is everybody going to follow two farmers in the Netherlands when just by looking into their eyes and trusting them? Well, one could say possibly, yes, but actually what we need to do is scientifically prove the change that they are bringing about in the soil. So very simply, our mission is to catalyze the transition, to have as many farmers worldwide moving to regenerative practices. In the first instance, we want to provide the scientific evidence that farmers see it to believe it. We provide the tools, we've written a guidebook, and then also creating community and connection so that farmers feel compelled to go further and feel endorsed and proud of and recognized for what they're doing. And that's all well and good. That sounds, great. Will it put bread on the table? A farmer still needs to pay the bills. So does it make good business sense? Are they going to change everything they've learned from their grandfather, from their father, to overnight to a new way of farming without knowing if financially it's going to be viable? So we have created the Soil Heroes company as a way of bringing income models to farmers for doing the right thing. So when, for example, you plant cover crops, because why on earth would you leave fields bare when fields with green are drawing down greenhouse gases? 7 months of bare soil, what a wasted opportunity. So if a farmer chooses to put in cover crops, which is also going to be feeding the soil for the next crop that they would then put in the following spring, for example, why don't we reward them for that? So as the Soil Heroes company, we are measuring the improvement brought about in soil as a result of particular practices. And when we have that measured, we verify it. And with that verification, we enable companies who, for various reasons, needing to balance their footprint, it might be part of their DNA that they want to be as planet positive as possible. It might be they're really looking at their risk analysis of what's the liability of my future supply chain. So for whatever reason, they want to engage and empower that positive impact in the soil as a result of generative practices. So by making it visible and tangible and scientifically proven, we enable a transaction between company and farmer, so the company can pay the farmer for that impact and encourage them to go further. So at a very simple level, it's about bringing companies and farmers together in the transition to regenerative.
One last question. The importance of soil conservation and the importance of having regenerative, organic practices. What are your views on that?
I can share what I understand of a variety of views, because I think it can be very contentious, and actually it's not. Regenerative organic is like the North Star, it's the creme de la creme, if you like. It's the kind of it's the end goal. You want to be, when you're doing everything right, you're going to be regenerative, organic, and beyond. If we want all farmers globally to become regenerative organic, it's going to be a big stretch to ask them all to move to organic first, because it's quite a dramatic change they need to implement on the farm. Whereas regenerative, you can take steps and steps and steps. And by the time that you are implementing as many regenerative practices as possible, you're basically a few steps away from being organic. And financially, you don't have to have this very draconian switch in between. So I see, we at Soil Heroes, we talk about it as a spectrum. And so from conventional right through to regenerative organic, let's enable farmers wherever they are in that journey to be able to go further. And equally match them with companies who are also at different stages of their journey. So a company that is looking to source regenerative organic, match them with with organic farmers, for example, who want to become regenerative organic. And likewise, companies that are just at the start of the journey might match with a conventional farmer to bring them into that first transition towards regenerative. And I really think we have to stop thinking polarized. We need to think of improvement. Improvement is a line. It's not kind of stop one end, start the other end. So that's my view. It's we have to be holistic, encompassing, encouraging, and see the fullness of all the possibilities.
Very illuminating. Thank you so much, Gina. This was Gina Pattison, CEO of Soil Heroes. What's your website? Where can we find all the information about Soil Heroes?
www.soilheroes.com.
And thank you so much for putting this open letter together to the CEO of the COP26 to bring soil health as a powerful solution, to put it at the forefront of the negotiations, and to encourage countries to include it in their nationally determined contributions.
Thank you very much, Oliver, and I'd just like to thank all of our partners who've signed the letter and everybody beyond that who are all so busy doing the right thing in restoring our soil health.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back soon with some more interviewees. Cheers. Bye-bye.